Hello again, everyone. This is Jay once again, and this time I am joined by Jack from AlmaLinux. He's the community manager for AlmaLinux. How you doing?
Hello. Hey everyone. How are you? Hey Jay.
It's good to talk to you again. It's been a while.
Yeah, been a long time.
Yeah, so I think the last time we spoke was right when you were about to launch AlmaLinux.
Yeah, I think it was right about then, so I'm definitely glad to be here again.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. So
Absolutely.
what we're going to talk about is AlmaLinux ELevate. But before we get to that, maybe you could just tell the folks a little bit about what a community manager at AlmaLinux has been doing these days.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. I basically coordinate the different members of the community, the different projects that are going on between the different groups in the community. So there are a lot of different people within the community with very diverse backgrounds and skill sets, and there are a lot of different initiatives going on. So I basically try to connect everyone, make sure that everyone has what they need to get stuff done, and just try to highlight a lot of what people are doing so that the community knows about it.
That's awesome. And, congratulations on the release of Alma Linux. That was some kind of amazing feat of project management kung fu to get that out the
Uh,
door.
yeah, well, I can't take all the credit.
Yep.
So, there's definitely people that do a lot more than me. And, the credit belongs to them, but I'm glad to be along for the ride.
Yep, and that's yeah. It's so impressive the fact that you saw, it, there was a need for this, and you guys made it happen, and it's been a great distribution. I was just recording footage from it yesterday. I just released a video. We'll probably get to this later
Awesome.
on about the extended lifecycle support. Again, we'll mention that later, but it's all about the end of life for CentOS 8, which will be part of the discussion. But the main discussion
Awesome.
is going to be AlmaLinux ELevate. So
Yeah.
hopefully you could tell the people what the goal is for the project, what it aims to solve, and how it's going to help us out.
Yeah, awesome. So the goal, okay, there are two goals. The first goal is obviously a lot of people are looking to be able to, let's say, jump from CentOS 7 .x to an 8.x distribution. And so what ELevate does, there are two parts of ELevate, but basically what it does is it's tools to allow you to do that, and that's not something that was ever possible before. So this is really like a novelty for the community, and it's something that has been needed and been talked about for a very long time. And we're glad to be able to make that possible. So that's the first kind of goal. And then the second goal is we tried to make this a community-wide initiative and a project that, there are a lot of different uh, sub-communities now within the CentOS space. So we tried to make this available and to work on every distribution, not just ours. So that's Alma Linux, that's Oracle Linux, that's Rocky Linux. And we just want to bring the community together on a project that they can all work on, which is something that a lot of people ask about. A lot of people ask like, hey, what's the difference between you guys? Is there anything you guys can do together? And I think this is really a great example of like a utility that's useful for everyone. And so it should be for everyone, and it should be able to accept contributions from everyone. And we're hoping that the community can really get around this and build this up to be something really amazing.
It already sounds pretty amazing to me from what I've actually read about it. And one thing to mention is that the E and the L are capital in ELevate, which I'm going to
That's
make an
correct.
assumption and just assume it's because, Enterprise Linux is what
Yes,
this is
correct. Yeah,
for. Yeah,
that's
that's pretty
exactly right.
clear.
Yep.
So Alma Linux ELevate is the name. And before we get more into that, I mean, the first thing I just want to say, I think it's amazing that I don't think at any point that I've been talking to you guys have I ever heard anything remotely resembling a us versus them mentality at all. It's like anyone else I feel would be like, this is a tool for our distribution to get you over here.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're like
right.
Rocky Linux, Oracle Linux. I hear no discrimination at all. And I think that's at the very core of a community is to include everybody because everyone benefits.
Yeah, and listen, I think that as a major part of the community. I think we need to set the tone of how we want our community to run and how we want our community to feel to others as well. And that's certainly something that I am very fond of, is, you know, making sure that everyone feels welcome, everyone feels included, everyone feels like they can have a safe space to, number one, learn, because I think that's a lot of what Linux is about, and number two, to contribute. It's actually awesome. Like, someone sent us a contribution yesterday on our Raspberry Pi project, and we accepted the pull request, and the person wrote back saying, "Hey, I was so nervous because this was my first open source contribution ever." And, you know, I was flattered, first of all, because, you know, I mean, thanks for picking us to be your first open source contribution ever. You know, and just to have that feeling where I think everyone can work together and everyone can solve problems. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're all here for, right? We're here to solve problems, no matter whatever use case, whatever industry, whatever thing you're doing, whatever project you're working on. It's really not an us versus them at all. I think they're all things that we can do together, and that's the beauty of open source, right? I mean, it's about giving everyone choice and letting them pick what they feel is the best choice for them.
Yep, I absolutely agree. I think that is absolutely the essence of open source. It's captured in this tool and many things that you're doing in AlmaLinux, especially the same mottos there as well. So I'm really feeling that. That's just such a pleasure to hear this. And I really hope this becomes an infectious thing, that everyone gets infected by this and they just become open and, you know, just inclusive, and you know, we're all playing for the same team. So back to ELevate. So what are some of the scenarios that you think this is going to help people out with? If you could walk us through that.
Yeah, so if you're running CentOS 7 now and you're looking to upgrade to 8 for whatever reason, whether that's a newer package that you want, whether that's a certain library that you need that wasn't available in 7, that's available in one of the 8X distributions. So what this tool will allow you to do is, you know, you come in, you download your metadata set that you need, and you run the tool, and it'll upgrade you from, you know, CentOS 7 to either AlmaLinux 8, Rocky Linux 8, Oracle Linux 8, any one of those. And it's really, really simple, actually.
So you say it's simple, and it is, but, you know, moving from one distribution to another is not. I think everyone in the field knows that it is an incredible pain. I mean, obviously, it's one thing to move from Ubuntu to CentOS because of the differences there, but it's still hard to move from, you know, an enterprise Linux distribution, even those that are cut for the same cloth, to another one cut from the same cloth. And it's like all kinds of things go wrong. So this, and we'll get more into this later, it's kind of like an example of things that are hard in the industry to deal with, and you're just trying to make it easy.
Yes. Yeah, I think, like I said, we're here to solve problems, right? And I think we're here to do things that make everyone's life easier, whether you're, you know, just a casual Linux user that decides to use one of these distributions on your desktop, whether you're a sysadmin, whether, you know, you're someone doing DevOps. We're just here to help solve problems, and this is just another one of those tools.
So how is ELevate structured? I believe there's like 2 components, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, so there are 2 components. So the way that it works, number one is the tool that you run, which is the Leap tool, which it's actually a tool that was developed by Red Hat for RHEL, but it didn't support other distributions. So what we did was we patched it, essentially, and we are, of course, working on getting that upstream. We're already working with them on doing that because we feel that it's important to make sure that stuff is upstream all the time as much as possible. So that's the first part of it, and that's really kind of the easy part, believe it or not. The more nuanced part is the tool requires a bunch of metadata to work. And what that metadata does is it describes how a package evolves between release to release. So, and there are a few different primitives. So like a package could have been added in one release, from one release to the next. It could have been removed. It could have been split. And there are a few others. And so we put together this thing called the Package Evolution Service. And this is really kind of like the brains of the operation, because what the package evolution service does, it lets you do one of two things. First of all, you can say, I want to go from this distro to this distro, and it'll give you the metadata set that you need to use with the tool. And the second thing, which I think is the even more important part of it, is it lets anyone contribute metadata as well. So if I'm a package maintainer and I know that whatever happened to my package between the two different releases, I can come in and I can actually contribute this to that library, so that anyone that comes after me and wants to download info for that package will have the correct evolution procedure, let's say, from one to the next. And that's really cool, because again, maintainers can submit that, community members that are just have knowledge of what's going on. Sometimes, like the users are the most intimately familiar with a certain package, and they can help with that. And then also the example of an application vendor that maintains a certain set of packages for their application, and they want to make sure that's supported, they can come in and they can contribute that as well. So the combination of those two things is what makes this possible.
And that's so cool to think about it from that lens, because if a package maintainer is maintaining packages, because that's what they do, and then they know firsthand what goes into a distribution, because they might be porting a package to a newer version of it. If they're already doing the work, then
right.
I would think it's easy, or for them to just say, hey, by the way, this is what I'm doing, and here's the information, and they could put in a pull request or however they do it, and that gives people it's almost like this could even evolve to just be like this big brain thing about packaging in general for all of Linux. Like, who knows what the community is going to do with it. I would love for everyone to get involved and then just make this like the even more impressive than it already is. But wow, I mean, it's just saving a lot of time and effort when it comes to migrating a distribution, which in and of itself makes me anxious just thinking about it, because I've been there, and I think many people have, and you guys are tackling these things. That's so cool.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it, by the way, is that every time there was a new release, like there's always this anxiety about like, oh man, I gotta upgrade everything now, and it's just, I don't know how many like hundreds of servers we have, and then we need to go ahead and figure out how we're gonna move everything. So I think this kind of is the perfect chill pill for that specific anxiety, where you could just come in, download the metadata that you need, run the tool, let it take care of it for you, and then it works. It's actually amazing. A few people came into our chat yesterday and just started running with it, and it worked like great for them, and they were so happy. So it's great to see instant community adoption, let's say, and to see it work well for people.
I guess there's probably a few people that'll use it, and they'll just call up their friends and be like, yeah, our plans for the weekend are back on. So
right.
I got some free time now. So that's really cool. Now, a little bit of side information for everyone. I think everyone knows this, but CentOS 8 is going to be end of life at the end of December of this year. This is for CentOS 7, though, because you guys already have a solution for CentOS 8. Now, CentOS 7 is not ending support. That's the interesting thing, and it might be confusing. CentOS 7 is not ending support at the end of December. So technically, CentOS 7 will still be supported when CentOS 8 reaches end of life at the end of December. So people that are on CentOS 7 have a different set of options available to them compared to people that took the jump and went to CentOS 8, which is ironic. I'm always telling people, you should always be on the latest version of a enterprise OS within reason. Obviously, don't upgrade the same day it comes out, but you definitely don't want to stagnate either. And now I kind of feel like some of the people on CentOS 7 are like, yeah, I'm glad I procrastinated.
So this is one of those cases where the procrastination actually pays off for them. But yeah, CentOS 7 is still around for another 2 or 3 years. 2024 is when that's going to be end of life. So if anyone's on that and they decide that they want to switch now, then they can use something like ELevate. The reason that we decided to put this out now was because we do realize that there is, at least a couple of years still there for CentOS 7. And so we want to be able to like do that fine tuning over the next 2 years to make sure that we have lots of applications supported, lots of different scenarios supported, so that when it does come time and people do need to move, they can move. So that was the rationale behind the timing. And then certainly if you're running 8 right now, CentOS 8, then it's much more lightweight to move to AlmaLinux because we have a migration script. And if you just go to almalinux.org, click resources at the top, and then there's the first thing there is like migrate from CentOS 8. It's a really small conversion script that will go in and just do some tidying up, and you're converted really, really quickly.
I've actually used it, and it was very impressive. I think mine was the early version. Is it true that you don't need to reboot now, or do you need to reboot after? I don't remember.
You do not need to reboot.
That's what I thought, because I'm pretty sure when the first time I did it, I did have to reboot, but then after I did it, I was informed, oh yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yes.
like, wow, and a distribution migration without a reboot. Now you have to kind of let that marinate in your mind a little bit, because this isn't the Twilight Zone. It's not the Outer Limits. It's actually a real thing. That just crazy to think about that's even possible,
We share so much of the DNA that it's a lot easier to do an 8 to 8 than a 7 to 8. So
Right.
the fact that that's possible, listen, I'm not going to say it's not a little bit of black magic, but it's just the right amount.
Yeah, that is just so cool. So if someone that's watching or listening to this wants to get involved, is there like a place they can go to kind of see what's available to get involved and how to do it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would say go to chat.almalinux.org. Join us there. For those of you who are on IRC, we're also on #AlmaLinux on Libera chat. And just pop in, introduce yourself, tell us what you want to do, and we'll direct you to the right place. There's really everything going on in every possible domain that you can imagine: cloud, containers, virtualization, automation and orchestration, high performance computing, security. All of that is going on. So it's literally like, pick and choose what you love to do. And we have great community members working on all of those. And it's just a matter of making the connection and letting you, enabling you to work on what you want to work on.
That's so cool, because that's like you named every single core component of a job application or a job ad for a Linux company or a Linux administrator.
Yeah.
All the things
Yeah.
that you might need to learn, or you could pick your specialty within that. But it's like whatever you want to gravitate towards is like containers, development, documentation, all of that is you could get your practice by just contributing, and that way, by the time it's time to apply to that job, yeah, I've been developing for years on AlmaLinux and related technologies, and I've been doing it. And here's my account.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said before, it's all about learning, right? I mean, I think that's what we're here to do as a community, is to learn and grow. And we want to be able to facilitate that for everyone, whether you're like a total newbie or you're an experienced vet. Everyone is welcome. There's definitely something for everyone to do. And like I said, it's just about creating that harmonious place where everyone can come together and do that work and learn and grow.
Yep, that is so cool. So is there anything else you want people to know about ELevate, or anything for that matter, about any of your services?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, be smart before you do anything to your system. Obviously, make a backup, take a snapshot. That's just like system administration best practices. I do say that because there are many different scenarios where people may have changed lots of files on their system. And so, you just want to be cautious. Personally, I think it works great. But again, you want to be cautious, and you want to make sure that in the worst case scenario, you're protected. So I will say that. Other than that, I think, grab it, try it out, hop on the forums, hop on our chat, give us some feedback if you see anything if something doesn't work, certainly let us know, because we want it to work, and we'll make it work if you let us know. So give us those reports, and I look forward to really seeing this be a true community initiative that everyone comes together on, that everyone works on and contributes to. And it should just be, a really a good and shining example of what true collaboration is across just our whole ecosystem. I think that after Red Hat's announcement about CentOS, I think there were a lot of factions that popped up, and certainly a lot of people were even mad at Red Hat as well, and just people went off in all different directions. Right. Some of them went to Ubuntu, some of them went to Debian, some of them went to Arch, some of them went other places. And I think that, as much as we can contribute to bringing people together, that's what this is all about. So I definitely hope to see this be one of those types of projects.
Absolutely. It seems like the Red Hat news was the worst thing that happened to enterprise Linux, but the best thing that happened to the Linux community, because it's bringing people together in ways that I don't think I've seen before. It's like people answer the call, the challenge, like, let's solve this problem. And out of this, we have several options for distributions now, and that we didn't have before. And now we have like an entire ecosystem that people can develop into and contribute to. So it's just amazing how, in proprietary operating systems, people get upset and annoyed or aggravated by the decision the company makes, and there's really nothing they could do about it, but we have all the power.
Yeah, and listen, I've been doing open source for over 20 years now, and the one thing that I've always seen, and the one thing that I really admire, is the resilience of the community. And I think this, that's exactly the point that you were making, that no matter what, the community always rises to the challenge. The community always kind of, picks up the pitchforks and picks up the shovels and starts figuring out the solution to whatever problem is thrown our way. And I think that's one of the most admirable traits of our community and of our ecosystem, is that not only do we do that, but we're also capable of doing that, and we also do it in stride. And that's something that I'm really, really proud of.
And I'm proud for you, because that is such a great accomplishment. You guys are doing some amazing work. I'm just totally excited about everything you guys are doing. So I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, I can't wait to show you what's next.
and I'll have you back on here whenever you're ready to tell us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.